Alright, welcome back to the Lichess Rapid Climb. We're on a 4-game winning streak. We're up to 1882. A lot of luck, but last game was pretty good, with a few opening lessons thrown in. So let's jump into the lobby and see what we get. Let's see if we can break 1900 this time. Okay, here we go. Sanchez Ben Kekuv, 1846. We play e4. Let me get the names on the board. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Scandinavian. Okay. Are they going to play the Portuguese variation? Ugh. Oh, this opening sucks. Okay. Okay. Let's defend our pawn first. And then, see, they haven't done this little capture, so they're not trying to play the cheap line. Now we can go here and kick the knight around. Obviously they can't go there. They can go here. No, they can't go there. The knight gets trapped, so they have to come here. And then pushing it away. I feel like we should just develop. I don't like the bishop getting to this square, but they're also threatening to come here. So I'm just going to develop the knight for now. Just develop the knight for now, expecting bishop g4. Oh, okay, they're going straight for this. So what we can do is we can do this. If they go here, I believe we win a piece. I believe we win a piece. So they have to go back. Yep. Okay. Let's take this. And when they take, we have options here. We can give the check. No, we can't give the check. Okay. We can go here, here. I am aware of this. The only saving grace is that we always have this. Okay. Isolate a pawn, but we're up a piece. So here, say here, here. And then I think here, and then I think we just trade everything. We're up a piece. I think this is easy. If they go here, I don't want to take this pawn and do this sort of stuff. Okay. But this loses, right? This loses to this. Here, they have to go there. Then we can go here. And that looks pretty horrible, but let's get the piece out. They have to block with the knight. Whoops. There's a possibility we could have tricked our opponent going like this, bring the queen out, and then play this, but I don't think Because I think what this is going to do is it's really going to prevent black from being able to develop. So I think we can go here and win the game. Maybe we should castle first. Maybe we should castle first. Okay, plays that. Here. Is there a better move? Is there a better move? Here. We can bring the bishop out to protect this pawn. That's an option. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. And then next move is castles. Because this pawn is really just clamping down. And if he tries to fiend cat and goes here, that's whenever we strike here, I think. Oh, no. Yes, because even if they take here, then here we're hitting the rook. And this seems like a disaster for... I'm wondering, are they going to go... Oh, no, they can't go there. That's a fork. That is a fork. Yeah, if they go here... Okay. Now, I was thinking we defend the pawn again. I see this. I'm going to go here. Then we're going to bring the knight in. Okay. But that's... Okay, let me see. Here. Where does he go? Could go here. Here. And that I think that's mate. Here. If queen goes back, then we check. He can just take. If only we could swing the knight into there. If only we could swing the knight into there. See, the bishop is hanging to here. He can just take, is the issue. Okay. The other option is to go here. And maybe I'm just too in love with that knight move, because this can also just push here. So here. Can we find another? We can go here. Then he hits this. Can we sack the knight? Here. And then he has to give up the queen. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Different response here. After we go here, we can take that with our knight. Okay. I think this is what I want to do. Bishop's hanging. Queen only has this square. Give a check. If he blocks, we take. Okay. Because I think there's too much stuff hanging if we push this pawn. Okay. Yeah, that was just an unfortunate blunder in the opening by our opponent, who just got obsessed with the fork on c2 with the knight. But GG to Sanchez Ben Kekuv. We get 34 extra rating points. That definitely brings us above 1900, which is nice to see. And the run goes on. The cheap line, if I can remember this correctly, is typically you play here. We may need to go to the analysis board to make other moves, so let's do that. Let's go here. So they take, you develop the knight, they go here, you go here, they go here, lots of pressure. I think the line goes like this here, castles, and then they castle queenside, and there's just a hell of a lot of pressure on this pawn. And it's very difficult to defend. I have run into many issues, because even if you defend it here, I think the line is just this, and I think you're toast. I don't think there's really much you can do on this pressure. I have fallen victim to this myself until I watched one Daniel Naroditsky, and now I play something slightly different. Now, we didn't run into that line, but if we go through it again, where the deviation is this move here. So this move here seems very natural, but I think what we do instead is we develop the bishop here, and then once they play the knight here, you develop the bishop here. This pressure isn't really that big. We can always recapture with the pawn. We don't have to recapture with the queen, and then this is all kind of diffused. And the point is that this sucks for black. This sucks. So it kind of prevents this whole castles thing, putting pressure on this pawn, playing this very quickly, etc. It kind of just nips that in the bud. So worthwhile to remember that move order. But in our game, they played it a little more normally. They took with the knight. And in this position, there are two main moves. There's bishop f5 and bishop g4. Even though this pin isn't really that bad, it does still kind of annoy me. I hate having to push the bishop away, and I hate having to play this, and they can still position their bishop here, which kind of bolsters the king side a good bit, and again still provides them access to this kind of fork, and it can be kind of hard to deal with. Now of course we can trade the bishop off, and that's fine, but I do quite like my light square bishop a lot of the time in these lines. As we've seen, this diagonal became very weak. So when we come here, they played f4, and once this is played, in my mind, at least at the level I'm playing at, I'm almost always thinking this is what the idea is going to be. Okay, and the issue is, because we can push it just as we played in the game, because of this, the existence of this, they have nowhere that they can, but they cannot play this because, as we've seen, they lose the knight. So, wrong would be, I think, to prevent this move, okay? And this is one of these things where Andres Toth talks about sometimes, where you learn about prophylaxis and you're like, okay, well, let me stop my opponent's ideas and let me play a3 to kind of prevent this. But once you're able to see a little bit more that this diagonal is weak, the queen is open, this move is actually impossible. Once you take that extra step to see that, then move d5 starts to become very natural. And really the only place for the knight to go is back. And we have all this space. We can bring the queen out, maybe attack this pawn, possibly forcing them to push the pawn if they don't want to lose the rook or the knight. For instance, I think something like this is possible. I'm not saying it's necessarily the best move. I would say something like this. They can start to bring the knight out here, but you can start to see, like, we can grab this pawn, but if they don't move the knight and we play this, you know, if they were to play something like this, then this diagonal becomes even weaker, because they can't block anything here. Now, we can't necessarily exploit it right away. We may have to play something like c5, which is the top engine move, I think. It should be the top engine move. And you'll see that even here, this is the sort of position that the engine is saying is best for black. So this is a very, very good position for white, and you should be very happy to sort of have this in a game. But once I seen the bishop come out there, I kind of figured that the knight was going to come to b4, even though its only square that it can go to is b8, and then just lose the tempo and rewrite the knight to d7, which is its more natural square in the Scandinavian anyway. But our opponent makes the blunder, plays knight to b4, we check and win the knight. So we're up a piece now. No worries, Baggio, you're all good, man. Okay, so they take. I think this is also going to be a bad move. Now, I think what I was thinking about was going here, and just on the off chance that our opponent would play this, because then we get to win the queen, obviously. That was the idea. But we played it a little bit more. I mean, queen f4 check may also just still be the best move, but I thought it was a little bit cheap. I didn't think my opponent would fall for that necessarily. So they play the right move here. Now I thought this was kind of strong, just because we aren't castled yet. I thought if we can gain more time and make it very, very difficult for black to develop, if we can make it hard for black to develop, I thought that it would just give us a lot more time to sort of organize the attack, get castled, etc., etc. And yes, Starman, I think bishop to b5 is very natural. I mean, it was basically bishop b5 or queen a4. I think we're up a piece. We can kind of do whatever we want. But our opponent tries to chase away the bishop. We could have tried to save the bishop and keep the pieces on the board, but I thought we're already up a piece this early in the game. I thought trades are fine. F4 to defend the pawn seemed very natural. And I wasn't necessarily sure. Yeah. I mean, that the only reason that I think the engine would think that you would ever play a4 is just on the off chance that they did play that, because I think they're pretty comparable otherwise. I mean, you could say that the queen still defending the d pawn here is a little better, but even if you play it here, you can swing it back here to achieve the same thing. So it's not necessarily a game, sort of a deal breaker. Develop the rook, castle, and now I'll be very interested to see what the engine thinks of this position once we switch the engine on. Now I was debating between these two moves. I think they're both good. I think everything is basically winning here. It's just a matter of trying to play as accurately as possible. I think that I may have just fallen in love with this idea. It just seemed a little bit more fun. I thought at the very least we were going to be able to win a queen somehow. So we play here. We play there, and actually, I'm just noticing it does get a little bit more complicated than I had anticipated here. Here we can swing. No. Okay, if they play the bishop here, then we can play this. Hold on, it's just getting a call. That's if we play here, we do have the discovery. So if they take this, they can move out of the way. But then I thought we could win the rook in the corner somehow. Here and here, which looks good too. We do give up the bishop, but we are up in exchange in that position. I suppose we can go here, threatening this. They can take this. They can take this. We can go here. Interesting. Okay, so I did not necessarily see that, but I think we would have figured it out. The bishop is pinned for the moment anyway. No, the bishop is lost. What am I talking about? The bishop is lost. This is just winning. This is just winning, I think. Yeah, that's just another piece. Sorry, my bad. So going back to what our opponent played, or where our opponent ended the game, I think just was here. So very easy game. Let's look at the computer analysis very briefly before I go, lads. Shouldn't be too much to look at, I imagine. But the line I was kind of calculating without that bishop move, what I was actually kind of looking at was this. And then I thought this was mating. So, I was considering a4. I was considering this, taking on b5. Let's say this. Can we actually win significant material here? If we play here, 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 I don't think this wins the queen necessarily. Maybe it does. Okay, so this is the kind of position that I thought we would get. Now, initially I was just thinking if they take the knight, this was going to be immediate mate, so they can't really do that. Here, here, and here. So we weren't even really sacking a piece there. But yeah, let's see what the engine says in terms of the opening very quickly. I'll just refresh this because the server analysis doesn't seem to be doing its job, but 98% accuracy, pretty damn good, pretty perfect. Takes f3, and it's in b5 immediately, but I like kicking the knight away. c3, best move. Okay, and then yeah, from here it's already plus 1.5, kick the knight away, has to go to b8. This is a disaster. So our opponent takes, c-takes is correct. Now it's still saying to play e5. It wants the e5 move. Because at this point, if you're going to play e5, the queen's under attack, you can't en passant. If you're going to push the pawn, just push it to e5, gain more space, I guess. And it is saying f4 is the best move. I mean, queen f4, bishop b5, pretty comparable. It's at a fairly low depth. Yeah, it's only at depth 15 here, so I think they're both pretty good. Here, yeah, d7. Maybe this. Okay. e7. Takes. d6. And they don't take. They don't take because we win the knight. Okay, pretty cool. But I liked that our move in the game. I'll be interested to see where the engine sort of ranks this idea of pushing the pawn. So it's not on the top 3 moves at a fairly low depth. Oh, no, knight is the top move. d6 is the best move. And I thought that was good because it just really restricts black's ability to develop. They'll have to fiend counter the bishop somehow. And I thought that just afforded us so much time. Okay, our opponent plays a6, best move. And it is saying just to keep the bishop, although taking is good too. So we took, f4 to defend the pawn. We castled. Okay, castling's good. A to d1, we played f to d1. I thought the other rook could have been used on the c file. I think either rook is good. I just thought it was more flexible. I guess you could bring this to the e file and maybe there's some stuff with this pawn with this knight coming in. For instance, if they tried to fianchetto, then you'd be able to go in here. I guess that might be the idea. So if you go here, let's say move here, 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 already here, they can castle. So maybe it's too slow, but anyway, we castled. They played this. I think this was their only idea, was just to play here. Went here just to support the pawn, specifically so that the bishop, when I played the knight in here, that the bishop wasn't able to take it. So I don't know why I struggled to remember that whenever I was looking at the line. They play here, and bishop to e5, bishop to e5, knight to f4 for this fork, and knight e5 are all the top three moves. They're all pretty good. Everything's kind of winning at this point, but let's see the engine's best line as I'm seeing it right now. Here, seeing this, and then we just win a rook. It doesn't even try to save the rook. I mean, if it goes here, we just go into f6. And then this is deadly because the queen just has to go here, and then here is going to be mate unless you give up the queen. So if we look at that line here, this gives the queen the square. Okay, now we go in here. It's just saying to give this up. Okay, here, here, and not to take back, but to take on b7. It's saying rook to g7. I mean, the position's a disaster. I don't think anybody's going to play this. We're winning a rook here. Once we do, we can bring this here. Yeah, this is pretty much a disaster because we are threatening mate. So that's why this is here. Knight d7. They just lose absolutely everything. Okay, so not much left to analyze here, but interesting. Bishop to e5 was the best move, but we went for the immediate knight to e5. And then it's just kind of, as we looked at, the bishop takes, rook takes, so we're up 2 pieces now, e7, g3 to save the bishop, and this is +7. This is a complete disaster. This is a complete disaster. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Okay, here I was already thinking of bringing the knight here, but just d7, d hit. Okay, I guess. Okay, giving this up. But we are up so much material at this point, it really doesn't matter. And then f3, so we're up a million pieces here. This is easy stuff. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go take a little phone call. Thanks for hanging out. It was nice to talk to everyone. Hopefully, Baggio, you're more than welcome to stay and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing plenty more streams, and hopefully you can check out the stuff on YouTube. And if you do like it there, please like and subscribe. That would be great. But I'll see you all next time, guys. Have a good one.